Good evening, everybody. We are here live at Barleymash in the Gaslamp district of San Diego. Wanted to bring some perspective of a locally run restaurant, food and beverage establishment, and see how they're having to adapt through the new normal here at COVID as we're moving through the new normal here. Some interesting insights. Going to sit down here in a minute with Fred Worster, the general manager of Barleymash, who's going to provide some insights into what they're doing, what they're proud of, and also how even a small local restaurant has had to start thinking about digital transformation in the moment, right? Something they may not have been thinking about prior to this ahead of time. So really excited for you to get some of these takeaways. I will tell you, again, staff has been extremely friendly here. One of the other best practices that I found and I thought was really interesting. So they have someone who is walking around the restaurant, really in charge of sanitation. They are dressed appropriately. You can see them, but they have these table signs that show this table's waiting to be sanitized, and this table has been sanitized in order to create a very clear expectation of what's been going on. So once the table has been cleaned, it will show that this table has been sanitized. Again, it's just another visual that a customer that's sitting down has just one more level of reassurance that that's been taken care of, that's been approached, and they can be comforted sitting down at the table knowing that the extra steps have been put in. So the other thing you can't see behind me, it's a little loud inside, so I didn't want to capture the noise, but they also have plexiglass dividers in between the various booths around the restaurant to provide an extra level of comfort and safety for the customers. So. But take a look. We're going to sit down with Fred and get some of his insights, best practices, and advice for those of you that have either recently reopened or in the process right now. Good evening. We are here in the Gaslamp district of San Diego, as promised, visiting some local hotspots, restaurants, and I'm joined by Fred Worster, the GM here at Barleymash. Fred, you're open.
We're open.
It's exciting.
It feels great to be open.
How long were you guys closed?
We were closed for, I think it was like around 10 weeks.
Okay.
10 weeks or so.
So you've gotten back open. It's a slow transition, I'm sure, but talk to me a little bit about the team members coming back. Are they excited? Are they motivated? What's the vibe?
It was, everyone had the same feeling of it. It's good to be back. It's good to come in to do what we do. When you're in restaurants, like, it's just, we're used to taking care of people. And, we're used to showing people a good time, having fun with our guests, creating experiences for them to remember. And so when you don't have that going on every day, you get a little stir crazy.
Sure.
We all went a little stir crazy, but the vast majority were definitely excited to come back and just do what we do again.
That's right. That's awesome. So when you think about your reopening plan, a lot of processes have changed. A lot of the way you do work has changed. Talk to me a little bit about. What are you guys doing as far as menus? I've seen, going to many restaurants now in a couple different spots. I've seen everything from the QR codes to the disposable menus. Like, what are you guys doing, and where do you see that going?
Yeah, so as a whole, our goal was to find ways to do the least amount of contact with our guests as possible without taking away from the overall feeling of hospitality and the feeling you get when you come into a restaurant. They're coming for us to serve them. We want to have a real serve for them, otherwise they would just stay at home to eat. And one of the things that we found was just using menus in general. Granted, most restaurants, including ourselves, always write down menus, but it's always a perception thing. And we saw that people were picking up the QR code and just found how easy that was and how the guests just love it. They're very responsive to it. Memorial Day weekend alone, for 3 days, I think I saw about 15 disposable menus go out. We still keep a couple on hand for phones that don't work, people are visiting from out of town, a little hard to read or whatnot. And those are just paper menus that we threw out. QR codes, we're just able to upload menus to it, change things quicker as well. And as we start to see the industry progress, we're going to start to see how these QR codes are going to now speak to the point of sale systems as well. And they'll be able to possibly even put in their orders through that. Server would still come, explain the menu, talk to them, let them know what's going on in the restaurant, bring them everything, but or even just scan a QR code that we would drop on a check, pull up a screen and they can pay their tab that way. Whether it be Apple Pay or connected to however it is on a paper tab. and leave a tip, sign it, and then you don't have to worry about a server dropping a checkbook or dropping credit card receipts that need to get signed. It's all just right there.
So when you think about prior to all this insanity happening, were you as digitally focused on changing your processes, or did this kind of force you into?
This definitely gave us a kickstart. You know, we thought we had an idea of what we needed to do for restaurants in order to make people feel comfortable, like the norm that they were used to. And when you take that change away, it sometimes ruffles some feathers. However, we were in a position where we could jumpstart that technology and make some of these changes at a time when it's a clean slate. You know, there's a new norm, and seeing where the different changes that we implement, like how that's going to fit into the new.
You know, it's interesting because I've had a lot of conversations when we've talked about digital transformation. Usually, it's like a strategic journey that companies go on. Even a local hotspot in town, like you're kind of forced into it. Like you're adapting, you're figuring it out. And I think that's a theme that everyone's going to be going through now. Is you didn't have a digital plan going, you're in it now. Like it's here.
Like you said it right. It's adapting. It's everything that we're doing. We can make a plan, but as things progress and change, they change so quickly that it's more about being resilient and being able to bend, not break, and find ways around new challenges that pop up every day, different things that we find.
That's awesome. So there are other states that are not as advanced as San Diego, California right now. Some states are in the process of planning to reopen. If you had one piece of advice to give any of your fellow colleagues in hospitality, food and beverage across the country as they're figuring this out, what would that be?
Just remember that everyone's going through this, the same feeling of is it safe? Is this okay to do? Is it not? Should we be staying in? Whether you're an employee or a guest coming in. I mean, that was something we told all of our employees when we first started was remember that they're not going to be used to putting a mask on to go walk to the restroom. We need to remind them to be patient of it. That's our policy now, but everyone else is working through this as well. And I would say amongst all these changes is just reassuring both your guests and your employees that we are doing things safely. We do have changes and practices that we're implementing to make not only the guests but the employees that come to work each day, because they're in front of several, 20, 30, 40 different people every day as well. They need to feel just as safe coming into work. And just as our guests need to see us wiping things down, sanitizing, and amongst all those changes, making sure that they still have that feeling of hospitality, which is what makes people want to go out to eat and come visit restaurants.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations on reopening. It's been super exciting. Thanks for letting me pop in, give me the lowdown. But thanks for popping in. Again, we'll have a few more insights after this interview of the experience here. And join me tomorrow. We'll be talking about some Airbnb takeaways and observations, as well as a really cool local story of a family who's really engaged in the Turo app and how they're making the best of this time and making meaningful engagements with folks. So thank you again, sir. Appreciate it.